Hi there, newsletter subscribers. It's Melanie from Stamp with Melanie. I'm here today with a really quick 2-card tutorial that is free to all of my email subscribers. I wanted to walk through how I made the cards with you. One of them is very, very simple. The other one is a fun fold, and it's got a couple of extra cuts, so I wanted you to be able to watch along if you wanted. I'm featuring the stamp set Simply Zinnia, as well as the designer series paper that coordinates with this stamp set, and you can find these items in the online exclusives section of my online store. And as you know, I've included the product numbers for the items in the online or in the tutorial that I've provided for you guys. So let's go ahead and get started. The first card, we start with a piece of thick basic white cardstock. I've cut it to 8.5 by 5.5 and scored it at 4 1/4. The next panel is a piece of basic white cardstock, 5 1/4 by 4 inches, and I've embossed this with the Simply Zinnia embossing folder, or the Zinnia embossing folder. It's a 3D embossing folder. So I want you to see both images. This is the embossed side, and this is the debossed side. Both of them are absolutely beautiful. So you can use whichever one you like better. I'm going to have the debossed side up for my card. But you'll probably notice, or you may notice in the pictures, I used the embossed side for the card that's in the samples that you'll see. So I'm just going to use a little Stamp and Seal and adhere that to my panel. Add it to the front of my card. Okay, this one is just a really simple card. So next I have a piece of Berry Burst cardstock. And to that, this is cut to 4 1/4 by 3 1/4. And to that, I'm adding a piece of designer series paper that's cut to 4 by 3. And I'm just going to layer those together. All right. And then just adhere this to the card front. Okay. Right like that. All right, now I have a little piece of basic white cardstock, and the size on this is 3 1/4 by 1 inch. And my Berry Burst stamp pad. I'm going to stamp my greeting, which says, "Words fail to express my gratitude." And I'm going to stamp that in Berry Burst right on my label. Okay. All right, and then I'm going to take a couple of dimensionals. Actually, I'm not supposed to use dimensionals on this card. On my samples, I just adhered it to the front of the card, like so. And then I grabbed some basic rhinestones, which are right here. My Take Your Pick tool. All right, so there's our first card. Really quick and simple. Okay, now for the second card, starting out with a piece of Highland Heather cardstock. It's cut to 8.5 by 5.5 and scored at 4 1/4. The first thing I'm going to do with this card is grab my paper trimmer, and then I'm going to cut 1 1/4 inches down to my score line on both sides. So I'm going to go 1 1/4 inches down here and 1 1/4 inches down here. So there's 1 1/4. And I'm going to go right down to that score line. Okay, then I'm going to come over here. And this time I'm going to use the the ruler on the right side. Measure that 1 1/4 again for the right side of my card. And cut down to that score line. So now this is what our card looks like with little flapping. Okay. Next, and I've already pre-cut my papers. So I have a piece of Blackberry Bliss, and this is cut to, what size did I cut? 4 1/8 by 2 7/8. And I have 2 more pieces of Blackberry Bliss, and these are cut to 4 1/8 by 1 1/8. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to layer these on here like this, and then on my centerpiece, I'm going to stamp that center stamp, this big floral image, in Memento, and then color it with Stampin' Blends. And I've already done that for the sake of time, because you don't want to be here all day with this. So the blends that I've used are the light and dark Highland Heather, the light Lemon Lolly, and the light and dark Old Olive. Of course, when you make this at home, you can use, you know, whatever you have handy. If you don't have this stamp set or this designer series paper, use what you have in your stash. Okay. So let's use our stamp and seal. And adhere these layers together. Okay, here's this is the second one. All right, then I'm going to put these on either side of my the front of my card. Now the strips of designer series paper, I don't think I mentioned it to you. The designer series paper is cut to 5 1/8. No, it's not. It's cut to 4 by 1, 4 inches by 1 inch. Okay. And now I'll adhere these two. I stamped off the edge, so I just turned it over and stamped on the other side. And we'll put that in the middle. Okay, I'm going to fold my score line So here's your card. And we're going to do a little more with it than that. We're not going to leave it like that. This is the panel for the inside, or the layers for the inside. So the Blackberry Bliss is 5 1/4 by 4 inches. Basic White is 5 1/8 by 3 7/8. And then I added a strip of the Designer Series paper, which is 5 1/8 by 1 inch. And I'm going to layer these all together. This paper's so pretty. And I'm just going to leave a little white at the bottom. Okay. We'll add this to the inside of our card. Okay, now, just a couple more steps and we will be done. First thing I'm going to do is take a piece of the silver and white sheer ribbon and tie it around this panel and tie a little bow. You don't have to tie a bow, you can just tie a knot. In fact, that's exactly what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to get it tight. And then hold it down with my finger and weave it through and pull my knot. And then just trim off the ends. So here you could either use a bow or a knot, whichever you prefer. And I'm going to get it more towards the middle. There we go. Okay. And then I have this little strip of basic white paper, which is 5 inches by 1/2 inch. And I'm going to stamp my sentiment, which is sending flowers and thinking of you. And this time I'm going to stamp it in Berry Burst. Must have a little bit of, yeah, a little bit of adhesive on here. Okay. All right, that looks good. A little ink on the fingers. All right, now I need my dimensionals. And I'm going to grab 2 of them. We're going to put one at either end of our sentiment. Actually, there's another step that I didn't do. Let me do it real quick. And that is, well, I'll try and do it with the dimensional on that one side. That is just tap your edges in your ink, just to add a little color around the edge of your label. Just a little bit. Now I want it to dry. So I'm going to give it a second. And grab that other dimensional. Ugh. What I didn't do on this one, I'm not going to do it now, is cut these edges off on a slant. Well, actually, I will. Now, I'm just going to re-dip these in the ink. Okay. I think we've got it now. I want to center it. So now, there's our little card. How cute is that? Something just a little bit different. Let's add some rhinestones before we say we're finished with it. And this time, let's add one down here. And we'll add a couple up top. All right, so there's our card. And then as a reminder, here's the first one that I made. Okay, so these are the cards that are included in your tutorial. I hope that you like them and that you decide to make them for yourself. If you do, please share them on my Facebook page. We'd love to see your creations. Thanks, everybody. Have a good evening. Bye.